Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for June 27th. Holidays today, there's just a couple. We've got National Onion Day and Sunglasses Day. Birthdays today, just one. Kimberly is 36 today. You might remember, I think, Kimberly from NXT, amongst other things. Hey, interested in roller derby? Want to be a skater, officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you? Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby. I am the Cashman. I'm your humble host. I'll be joined by the boy who grew up on the show. No, that's another guy. This is Rob Sanderson, parts unknown Rochester. Rob, how you doing today? Yeah, you didn't hear that in the beginning. Welcome to the show. Let's try that again. Rob, can I hear you now?
I don't know. Can you?
I can. There was some plug was loose or something. Hey, welcome to the show. I just did all the introductions in the mornings and everything. I want to thank the people in the chat room as well. Some things. Rob, how you doing today, by the way?
Who's Kimberly?
It's Kimber Lee. I believe
Oh.
TNA, I think, for a little bit, and maybe NXT.
Yeah, she did some NXT stuff and a bunch of indie stuff and Chikara. Then I believe she got canceled. Yeah,
Makes sense.
there's a whole bunch out there. I believe Abby Lath was her NXT name, if I remember right, but former Chikara grand champion. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I haven't heard her name pop up in quite a while.
Well, it's the only birthday that fell on today. I will say there were some good ones yesterday. Just if you're curious whose birthdays are around this time of year, yesterday was a really good day for birthdays because yesterday, and I'll just let you know right now, yesterday we had JJ Dillon, Mark Jindrak, Matt Stryker. So there's a few. Probably don't remember many of those guys, but JJ Dillon, of course. You know, Matt Jindrak, Jindrak was the New Bloods in WCW, and then came to WWE and was supposed to originally be a part of Evolution, but then Batista got the job. So just think, what if, but those are guys were born yesterday. So yeah, a lot of things to talk about today. I was going to go through the laundry list real quick. We've got three live events going on today. Today we have Night of Champions, or as I call it, Afternoon of Champions. Tonight we also have Collision. We have tomorrow earlier in the we have actually two pay-per-view premium events going on tomorrow. Of course, Forbidden Doors, the big one, and then WWE tries to counter program by doing the Great American Bash from NXT. So that we'll talk a little bit
And
about
TNA Slammiversary.
Oh, and TNA Slammiversary early tomorrow, right? That's the early
Hmm.
one tomorrow. That's the one where we're gonna find out if Santana's coming back or not, So uh that will be because his contract is running out and he's taking on former champ Dolph Ziggler. That's going. We got so much going on this weekend. We'll try to give each of them a little
And I'll
brief.
be watching GCW tonight and tomorrow as well. It's like two of the bigger cards they've had in quite a while, including Hook, who debuted last weekend, challenging for the GCW World Title tonight, and the debut of Butcher and the Blade tonight against Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, and then tomorrow against Cowboy Way, which is going to be a hard-hitting spectacle. So there's too much wrestling this weekend.
There is, but before we get too far, I do want to send out our condolences to the family of Joe Doring, who passed away yesterday. And Joe Doring wasn't that long ago. It was on TNA, big cowboy looking guy. And it's a shame, he had brain cancer and then it came back in 2016. It came back in 2022, had to step away from the business and went into hospice just 2 days ago and passed away yesterday. So we do send our best out to, and I love Joe Doring. I thought he was a great wrestler for a big guy too. So, but that's a big loss to the wrestling world because I'm sure he could have, at his size, he's a prototypical WWE kind of guy, and eventually probably would have made it there, I'm guessing. But Rob, your video is like a black our
Yeah, I'm
vertical
trying to
line.
figure it out. There's something going on with this camera.
It's okay. At least it shows up next to me. So I'm talking to a black vertical line the whole show. But excuse me. But we got to go quick today because we're both are busy as soon as the show ends. I've got to get an inspection done at noon. So, and you have other things as well. And plus, let's talk a little bit about the hockey. We have going on the draft picks the in Buffalo, which you gotta love the commissioner of the NHL getting booed every time he comes up to the podium, and then he always has to
He
say,
has
"Well,
embraced that he's embraced that heel role for quite some time at this point, and um, I don't know. I I think I used to be more of a hater than I am now. I mean, he has improved a lot of the business sense. The owners are very happy with him because I mean, revenues have probably gone up like 7 times
oh, those contracts
during his
don't."
tenure.
That's for sure. Yeah, the big contracts they've gotten.
Yeah, but there's plenty of questionable things as well. And I don't know. I was having a discussion last night. There's just so much that's been changing in sports in the last, uh, since the COVID start, basically, like things that changed and never came back to the way that they used to be. And I kind of feel that way about a bunch of aspects of the NHL draft. I'm glad it's back in Buffalo, though it's not really doesn't feel the same as a decade ago when you had all of the GMs and everybody on the floor itself wheeling and dealing, and now they're all back in their home cities, their home arenas, remotely. Well, at least you've got fans in there, and they tried to make it quite the spectacle last night. I was not expecting Justin Bieber
Justin
to
Bieber.
announce the first pick and stuff,
Yeah.
so there was a
Well,
lot going on.
He's a Toronto kid, so it makes sense,
He
Uh,
is one of the top Leafs fans out there, so
yeah.
I mean, I give Batman's crew credit for how many surprise kind of celebrity appearances and stuff they had last night. They're stepping up their game a little bit on that compared to what it used to be. So
Did I hear a "Who are you" chant when the NBA WNBA player was out there with the San Jose pick? Uh, she goes,
the
she said something right after.
PWHL,
Yeah, she said something right after that, going, maybe I should have brought my Olympic gold medals with me or something.
no, she got a good cheer,
Yeah,
Layla Edwards. I think I mean the fans would have liked to have seen the gold medal, but yeah, she announced both of San Jose's picks, and then was in the crowd for one of their cheesy like uh making somebody in the crowd press the trade alert button thing as they try to make
yeah,
it more and more of a gimmick. But um, yeah, I don't know. It was a fun day one. The day two starts in about 48 minutes, and it's this is the business day. This is the crazy nonstop back to back rounds 2 through 7. So
good. Yeah,
um,
I'm
yeah,
not big on the 15-minute wait between picks and stuff. So or whatever it is, it's like seemed like forever. So
I
uh,
wish they could find a way to cut that. I mean, I know once in a while you need the full time, but you usually don't. And I would love to see them make it so like rounds 1 and 2 get the big TV night because I mean there's so many good picks that are going to come, right from 11 to 11:15 today, that should be on TV as well. And then maybe we wouldn't have to wait the full 15 minutes between each pick,
yeah,
but
or
or have to
listen.
squeeze 6 rounds in today, which is always some of those days. I mean, when I've covered the draft in person, I mean, we had some day twos, like you're already on like no sleep and just it's an absolute marathon, exhausting day, of hundreds and hundreds of picks and stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see what I mean, this has been an insane week for the Sabres in terms of
Oh yeah,
trades
trades
and
moving up. Yeah,
yeah, it's there's been a lot of shakeup. So
it's
nice
okay.
to see a GM that's active.
Yeah, it's good that my caps get two, so, or or what's his name? Touch, is that it? I don't know how you say it.
Alex Tuck, yeah,
Yeah, Puckett.
it's
Yeah, He, and
Yeah,
they
I mean,
signed him
there's
to like
the
I
uh,
know that's not a good thing because they signed him to like a 7 year deal when they traded for him or whatever. So it was, and I mean, he was
8.
eight. Was it eight?
Yeah,
I know he was important because I mean, I watched a lot of those Sabres games.
he was important. He just didn't show up in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
And I think that that's part of what has made this a little easier for Sabres fans to lose him. I mean, he's a Syracuse kid, and
yeah.
um, I mean, was certainly a contender to be named captain at some point. And um, I don't know. There's so much Saber stuff I could go. I mean, that could be the whole show, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's just it's interesting to see. The team finally makes playoffs for the first time in 15 years, and now there's already been a lot of roster shakeup. But you lose Bowen Byram in a trade, and then you find out. I like the bluntness of Jarmo Kekalainen as a GM, just saying like he was not going to negotiate with us. And it's like, oh, okay. So he didn't want to be here. Like, bye. Like, it makes it so much easier for fans to just be like, oh, I don't care about this guy anymore,
Yeah.
as opposed to being upset at like the Sabres for trading him away or something. So, um, still would like to. They either seem or they pretend to be confident in the goalie situation, um, which I'm still not 100% confident in. I don't really believe anybody's 100% confident in it. That I would love to see them pull some pull something off along those lines. But we will see. Free agency is Canada Day coming up on Wednesday. So
There you go. I will say that Bettman, every time he came to the podium, he had to say, even though they were booing him, he said, "I love the enthusiasm," in Buffalo, and I
he
got,
embraces it.
yeah,
He's literally like a guy who always wanted to be a heel, I feel like. And I mean, what else are you gonna do?
yeah,
I don't necessarily understand like all the sports commissioners get that. And it's like you have plenty of other people to be mad at as a fan, but I mean Buffalo's a little different because you can think of specific incidents where maybe you wanted a different result from officiating or reviews or lack of reviews or goals or no goals or all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It is kind of is what it is. So
So one last thing I'll mention is the number one pick for the Sabres was handed a plate of chicken wings and started munching on them. So he fits in very well.
Jackson Rudolph, yeah. I mean it's yeah, it's good to get 2 first round picks, him and Morozov, and I mean I don't know. It's the draft feels so much different. Like I had a whole discussion on this as well last night, which I won't get into here because it would take forever. But like a lot has changed in terms of the NHL draft and everything else related to changes in college sports and how it's impacting in hockey. It's impacting juniors. It's impacting the draft. I mean, you used to like have like the entire U.S. Olympic team basically came through the U.S. National Team Development Program in the USHL. Everybody you can think of on that team, like they all played together in Michigan, as juniors in that, and that program is taking a huge hit right now because of the laxing of rules for college eligibility and transferring in college and getting paid in college sports. It's the same type of thing as like, ooh, Temple football's got a great quarterback. Okay, well, he's going to transfer out because now there's no, waiting, sitting out a year, all that kind of stuff. I really don't like a lot of the changes that have happened in sports along those lines, and I see a lot of impact with that with this draft as well. So.
Yeah, there things will have to change in college with that not having to sit out a year. Maybe I don't I don't know that, and making money as well. So, well, you know what? That's great insight there, and I think that we'll have to wait. I mean, I know that a lot of people are not happy with the system, so hopefully that will change soon. But one
I, on the college side of things, I think it's getting a lot like it's literally hurting my interest level in like college basketball and football, to be honest.
these guys who
Um,
come from like for instance, Ohio State. they have a new quarterback every year, and they usually come from another college, you know,
Because they
and
can basically just buy it because now it's
yeah.
basically pro sports. It's not playing for your school. It's turning into pro sports where you're cheering on individual superstars and not the school. I think college athletes should be fully taken care of. Um, I don't think college athletes need to be making tons of money while playing college. It's a controversial opinion. Um, I think, like I said, I'm fine with them not ever having to open their wallet in college, for their dorm, for their classes, for their food, for their apparel, all that kind of stuff. But the getting paid thing, like, how is this different than pro sports at this point?
Yeah.
So,
I remember some guy losing all his eligibility because he took a tattoo for payment. So, I mean, stuff like,
right,
and that was
right,
before this all happened. So, yeah.
yeah,
So let's jump into the world of pro wrestling. And I mean, I find some great insight there, and it's a great time of year if you're a hockey fan. I mean, we had the NBA draft and the NHL draft within a week of each other, which is exciting. Even though both their seasons just ended like 2 weeks ago, so it's like it just keeps the momentum going. And I love the Buffalo fans at the draft, so that's been a lot of fun. But I do want to talk a couple things. Like today is Night of Champions, and their pre-show is starting in 40 minutes. And I'll tell you, leading up to this pay-per-view, I didn't really care too much, but last night I honestly believe this now. I believe Sami Zayn is going to win the title today in Saudi Arabia. And then why I say that is because they had a three-way discussion at the end of last night's SmackDown, which really everyone just displaced Sammy's like you never won it. Both the guys who he's wrestling against, it's a three-way. Both the guys he's wrestling against he said both of them said the only difference between you and Kevin Owens is he's been champ, or you've never been champ. And so I have a real strong feeling that Sami Zayn's going to come out with the championship, which I don't have a problem with, even though he's changing character. But that was something and then they had like we've got the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring finals tonight as well, or today. It's afternoon of champions in the United States. It's night of champions in Saudi Arabia. The pre-show starts at 11. The first matches are at 1 o'clock, and the first two matches are the King and Queen of the Ring finals, and they're going to be on ESPN. So you can turn into ESPN at 1 o'clock and watch these two matches before the rest of the pay-per-view kicks off. They actually have more than a 5-card pay-per-view for once. And it's only because they're doing those two ones on the paper or on the freebie. Or well, technically you have to have cable TV to get ESPN, but and then after that they have like Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, which I'm loving the build up to that. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins in a steel cage, and Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Sami Zayn a triple threat for the WWE Championship. The winner of that gets the winner of the Obafemi Jey Uso King of the Ring finals at SummerSlam. So that's with the both winners of and it's interesting that it's Io Sky and Liv Morgan and the end of the King of the Ring for the finals of that because, well, first of all, Liv's already the women's champ, and two, she got hurt on a live event in England last week. And we did not see, I don't think we saw much of her, even though they said she was okay to go. We will see how that affects her. But she got landed on by somebody in a match. They came across in the air and landed on her leg, and then she immediately rolled out, grabbing her leg. So, could be a setup for a fake out, but that's going on today, and we get that out of the way real quick. And I think, like I said, and I mean, Sami Zayn being a champ, I would not have a problem with that. Rob, I know you don't follow it that closely, but would what do you think? I mean, that being the main event, and it's like like I said last night, they spent time in the ring, both all competitors pointing out that Sami Zayn has never won anything, and pretty much belittled him in front of the London crowd last night.
yeah. I mean, I didn't know that he had a title match until right
Well, He
now.
got he, he got added
Um,
a week ago, so it was because he was like the special referee between Gunther and Cody Rhodes, and he like did a quick count, ended the match, and so they were all mad about that, and so they decided to settle it by making a three-way for the title at the Night of Champions. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. My thing is, I hate I understand like the aspect of like Sammy being over in the Middle East and everything, and how his stories kind of changed with that over the years, and um, they've embraced him, and I just it should have happened in Montreal. It didn't, and him winning on a Saudi show to me at this point, just I don't know. Like I would have cared quite a bit back in that was that Elimination Chamber in Montreal or whatever, like a
Yeah.
couple years back or something. And I
Roman
just
Reigns, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
And now I don't know. It's just I just can't. I hope I would love to see him get a title. I mean, I agree that like I mean him and Kevin are always going to be mentioned in the same sentence forever. And it's been quite a while since Kevin won his first one, so I mean I would like to see him win that title. Um, I just won't see it till I see a highlight or something.
I
But
get you. And I have a feeling Kevin Owens' name being brought up may mean more to the story than what's going on. Instead of just a plain three-way, maybe Kevin Owens will have something to do with it. So, I mean, the pay-per-view is going to be 1 o'clock to whatever, 4 or 5 in the afternoon today, and then you got Collision tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Forbidden Door tomorrow. The build up that now tell me, were you watching obviously the beginning of Dynamite this week when Will Ospreay fell in the opening shot
it was awesome.
in the locker room?
It was in. I mean, obviously, like right after that, you could see them all kind of like walking to the ring and stuff, and know that it was a live shot. But that was the moment in which you immediately knew, like, oh, they're doing this live. Yep.
Yeah.
That was, I love, he poked fun at it later in the night and stuff too, and yeah, that was entertaining.
I'm like, I'm going, was that intentional? They get dizzy being spun around in the scrum they do, or
Yuta was about to lose it, and then I don't know if I think Garcia and Will were both kind of like, I don't know if we're still on camera or whatever, but I can't hold back from laughing anymore. So I appreciated the realism of that.
even Moxley did the OS, it was like, he's like, whoa, he had that look. And he went by the camera very quickly. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting start to Dynamite, which was a pretty good Dynamite this week, without a doubt. That was a lot of fun.
Had a lot of good matches and stuff. I mean, you know how I feel about go home dynamites
Yeah.
and go home collisions. But it I wasn't crazy about like the final part of the show, with the individuals one by one kind of coming out for the steel cage match, even though like those participants, even though they already had a match against each other last week, and I can't get myself to care about that match. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good, but I just until the match happens, I just have no interest in it.
Yeah, well, we did get I think Will Osprey, was it ELP or El Phantasmo or whatever, that was a great match for a Wednesday night. That was,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously two guys who know each other too, so it was like that. I thought that was, we got some solid wrestling on the show, and yes,
And see, like that stuff I like. Like you find ways on these shows on the go homes to squeeze in more of like the potentially forbidden talent, as opposed to doing like tonight. I know they've got was it Athena and Mercedes against Tyann and Mile World, and like just like everything else, like I don't want to see Mercedes and Maya touch tonight. I don't like save it for the pay-per-view. We gotta stop doing these like I think there was something with the Bucks as well. Like to me, the appeal of the pay-per-view is like you finally get to see these people get in the ring against each other, and yet constantly we're like, oh, here's the pay-per-view preview match. I don't want it. I don't stop doing this, Tony Khan. Every single pay-per-view.
oh yeah, and the interesting thing is Chris Jericho even on the pay per view? I'm gonna
I
say,
don't think so.
yeah. See, he wrestled JD Drake on Collision, so It was, there was a couple,
And that's the kind of thing that should happen. Like, get people who don't have a spot on the pay-per-view on the show. I don't need to see the people who are wrestling on the pay-per-view wrestling on the go home TV. You have too many people on your roster. Let other people get on there as opposed to all the same people that do have a shot on the pay-per-view.
yeah. So I will go through the matches and we'll just give a brief thoughts on them. I mean, one thing I will say is the winner of the Owen Hart Cup tournaments will each earn world champions at AEW All In, which kind of gives you a hint to where maybe these finals or the Owen Hart Cup are going. But on the
I think
pre
the Owen there's been some predictable Owen tournaments. And this one on the men's side of things, like I said, I mean, like knowing what the Owen champion gets, what the winner of the tournament gets each year. This is the Owen on the men's side that we kind of knew who was going to win the 2026 Owen by like 2024.
yeah.
So there's not, to me, it's as predictable as it gets in terms of who's winning the men's and who's winning the women's, but they still should both be very fun matches.
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so. So we'll start with the pre-show, which we have two matches on. I don't see anybody from. I don't see any big chocolate chunk guys on this show. So maybe we get a little bit of a break from AJ and all them. But on the pre-show, we got Megan Bayne and Lena Cross versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia for the AEW Women's Tag Champs. And Thunder Rosa is, I don't know if you've been following Thunder Rosa, but World Cup soccer is going on right now, and Thunder Rosa is a big fan. So I'm guessing she'll come out decked in World Cup, uh, maybe Mexican colors or something, But it's good to see her back though, too. That I mean, she hasn't really been that significant recently. So we got El Sky Team, which is Mystico and Mascara Dorado versus the Bucks, and that's on the pre-show. So I find
Wait,
that
what?
interesting. Yeah,
I thought that was on the main card.
no, I think that is a tag. Oh no, you're right. There was only one pre-show match. Pardon me. That's on the main card. You're correct. So I have them all crammed together. So
I have
yes,
a problem with the Divine Dominion being stuck on every pay-per-view pre-show. Um, you've gotta make their like they should be a dominant women's tag team. I know you don't have a ton of different tag teams for them to face, but all of the like 5 minute challenges didn't really do anything for them in
yeah,
terms of further establishing them, and then making them be on the pre-show every pay-per-view is
yeah.
just it's not it's not building them up enough to make it matter enough when they do lose those titles. Um, which will probably be all in, but like in the meantime, I would like there's no reason they can't put them on the main card on one of these pay-per-views at least. So I that's a
Yeah.
frustration to me.
And they aren't consistent enough with the way they were doing the 5 minute things too. I mean, because sometimes they wouldn't be on, if they were on every week doing it every, it was, and they were for a while, but it's kind of like lost and pushed aside because of everything else that's going on, including the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which is very little Forbidden Door, if anything. So,
Right.
but yeah, so yeah, I agree. And it's like, so you got an hour pre-show, one man. I think there's another, maybe.
Yeah, no, they added I know at least one more is the final one of the qualifying matches for the Survival of the Fittest TBS title match that's on Wednesday.
Oh,
Um, Sky Blue and I'm trying to remember who it was from. Was it
the Queen
Micah maybe?
Amanada? No, no. I have not seen the latest
I think it's
updated.
Micah that's got
Okay.
it. Which I don't think she's been on AEW TV before, but um, in my mind, it like thinking about all of that, like I kind of would like to see Sky Blue win that match and then win the match on Wednesday. Tekla's obviously the women's world champ. Julia has been TBS champ. Sky is just eaten a lot of losses, and I feel like it would be good to give her the title for a bit, as opposed to a repeat champion or something like that. So
Yeah, and Sky, was had a really good push, and then think got hurt, and that kind of derailed a lot of what was going on, unfortunately, and she hasn't come back to where she was. So, unfortunately, but I'm a big fan of Sky Blue as well. So good. So there's two shows, two matches on the pre-show. Then I'll start with the regular card. There's Mystico Dorado versus the Young Bucks. Sorry, I jumped that on the undercard, so or on the freebie. So that L Sky team there. That this is the CMLL portion of the show, right? This is the if you
Well,
look at
that's a three-way, right?
is it a
Um,
three-way?
yeah, it's the Bucks and Sky Team, and then Unbound Company, Shingo Takagi and Teton. Um, I know like the Bucks have never faced Mystico or Mascara Dorado before, which is kind of crazy. This is Takagi's kind of an interesting. I like Takagi, but he's kind of to me like the one of these things is not like the five others in this match. But I mean, this is certainly a match that could steal the show. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
It's funny that the place I was looking for actually they didn't have that information. So I'm kind of bummed now that I did all that prep and it was wrong. So, well, we will move on then. And tell me this one's right. Oh, Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Damn right, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the whole. That's I mean, the pay-per-view is gonna be very good, but I mean that's my main event.
That is, and that who knows where they'll get sprinkled in. There is you like you mentioned a 6-on-6 cage match going on, and Briscoe gets a shot at the AEW World Championship if his team wins. The teams are MJF, Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Okada, El Idolo, Andrade El Idolo, and Jack Doyle versus Briscoe, Darby Allin, Takeshita, Cassidy, Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. 6-on-6 in the cage. That ought to be interesting. That I kind of like the build up if they are going back to Mark Briscoe versus MJF. I mean, I think we saw Mark Briscoe and MJF once before, and that was an MJF win. But I definitely, I know MJF. We talked about it. He kind of tweaked his knee a couple weeks ago, and so maybe that's why he's getting put in the 6-on-6. But that ought to be fun with all the apparently all the Briscoe's team is going to have backpacks, so who knows what will be in them. They're going to be in a cage, so
I
I
just
don't know.
don't. I don't know. Like, I mean, you find a way to make the Royal Rumble work and stuff, but like 12 guys in a one ring steel cage
Yeah,
is, I guess, kind of. I'll wait and see how that goes.
yeah.
So
You need a Hell in a Cell with some more space on the outside of the ring, or something. I don't know. It's
yeah,
kind of
I have to believe. I mean, especially since we're not in the era of like the only way you win is escaping the cage, which the hot take is that I'm like the only person in the world who that was my favorite type of cage match. But it's there's so much talent in that match that I mean, normally I complain about them trying to squeeze everybody onto a show. Like all of the people, or at least a good amount of the people in that match, like deserve to have some kind of spot on the show. I just wish it wasn't in a 12-man match. Um, to me, it feels kind of, in a way, a waste of. I mean, I know they're doing storyline stuff with, like within the Don Callis family and Andrade's eventual face turn and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, between Takeshita and Fletcher and Okada and Andrade and stuff like some of these guys, I really wish had their own singles matches.
yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm glad to see Takeshita. I like him now, but I mean, as a quote unquote face, I mean, it's obviously
I
good
get
time
like
for
the Don Callis family's huge, so like putting together a six-person team isn't a big deal because they have more than six people.
yeah,
But why could Team Briscoe why does Team Briscoe not have anybody forbidden? Like you you there's I I absolutely hate AEW versus AEW matches on Forbidden Door. I
yeah.
hate it.
And it's all,
Um,
and that's a majority of what we're seeing. So,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I, um, I will say, getting to the next match, we have Umino versus Pac for the IWGP Global Heavyweight title. So there's a little forbidden door there. Uh,
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that'll be a really good match. I mean we don't get to see a ton of Shota in the States, and Pac is somebody that always shows up and shows out when he actually gets like a pay-per-view singles match. So that's a sleeper on the card. I certainly don't expect I don't think there's any chance that Pac's gonna win the title, but I think it'll be fun.
yeah. Oh yeah. We have Moxley versus Bandito for the AEW Continental Championship. Kind of been building up to that for a while, and we got a lot of
I
little.
can't get myself to care about that. I know it'll be
It's
good.
tough. It's tough, but I mean, they tried to with that 3-on-3 on that Dynamite, to build some heat for that. So we will see. But yeah, then we got Copeland.
Why is the Ring of Honor World Champion not just defending his Ring of Honor World Championship on the Forbidden Door?
I don't. That's a good question. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. There's so many Ring of Honor people that I would rather see in AEW than Ring of Honor. Just I would say, but yeah, at least I'm sure he'll come out in the tight with a title on, and then they'll just explain away why it's not up for grabs. So, um,
Never is. Yep.
yeah. So we got Copeland Cage versus the Dogs, who maybe a year ago would have been a Forbidden Door match.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, David Finlay and Clark Connors for the AEW tag titles. So, uh, you know, uh, good for
That's
them.
I mean again, this is a pay-per-view to me that a lot of it is extremely predictable. There's no chance the Dogs are going to be the team to take those titles away from Cope and Cage, but I like that they've worked on building up this match a little bit. So
And we got so then we got Tekla versus Starlight Kid from Stardom for the AEW World Championship. They got a little bit more into the story this past week, this past couple of weeks, building this up with explaining kind of like Tekla's divorce from Stardom, I guess you could say, or whatever the storyline is saying, the attacking the owner, um, and
the other Okada, yeah.
yeah, the other Okada.
I'm looking forward to this match. I don't I don't think there's a chance of Tekla losing this, but I mean, if there was gonna be like, I don't know, if there was gonna be any surprise like Forbidden Door win or title change or something, I mean, I think that's where you do it. But I can't see them keeping Starlight Kid around on a regular basis, especially with all the visa issues that every wrestling company has been going through as of late.
Seriously, you are definitely right with that. So, and then
Tony
after,
on the media call this week talked about that quite a bit. Like there's like he went a little bit more specific than he normally does in terms of like all sorts of people that just probably would have been on this show, but they just couldn't get. And that includes a bunch of people that are stuck in Mexico right now as well. Really good talents like Beast Mortos and Hechicero, and I mean the list goes on like worldwide. So
yeah,
that's a roadblock that I mean he's still got a very full card here with a lot of people, but maybe we could have had a little bit more forbiddenness
yeah,
if the visas weren't such an issue.
yeah. And speaking of the last two matches, we just can group them in the Owen finals. We've got Mercedes Monet, Maya World, which you're going to get probably a little sneak preview if you watch Collision tonight, even though it's their tag team going on in that match. And obviously Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland for the finals as well. Hopefully
It's weird
Ospreay
that I can
doesn't
get
fall.
annoyed about something that's not even happening, but the word going around this week, I know Sean Ross Sapp had said like he had heard that Willow was supposed to win the Owen before she got hurt.
Yeah, I heard that
Uh,
too. I saw that too. Yeah.
and again, nothing like I like Willow, but Willow was the TBS champion. Can we please stop with this? Like, oh, we're gonna have a champion go for another championship. That would have seeing the TBS champion win the Owen to then challenge for the women's world title. Like, I don't want that. You have so many other women. Like, uh, have Willow drop the belt first and then do that, or give it to somebody else. So it just to me it kind of it's weird where we're at with all the women booking that now we're in a spot where Mercedes is going to win though, and again, and I don't know, it's not exciting to me. I don't, and I don't know how that all shakes out because like still can't really tell if Mercedes is like kind of a baby face now or a tweener, like.
Yeah.
And then Tekla's been getting like some better reactions, but they're still technically heels. But
Yeah.
is it going to be a heel match at all in, or is Tekla going to drop the belt first? I don't know. But it's I'm just not excited about seeing Mercedes win the Owen again. And
Yeah.
I like Mercedes, but I would it's an opportunity to elevate somebody else on your roster, and they're not doing that.
Yeah.
At
No.
least Maya World's getting this like getting these matches and stuff and made it to the finals and stuff. Hopefully that's something they continue and they follow up on and they don't just drop it and have her disappear back to Ring of Honor like what seems to always happen when somebody gets a little bit of a push.
Yeah, well, we will see. We will see how they're going to get to what we think is going to happen at All In too. What we, what we, how the where we think the championship's going to go for that mat for the main event of All In. So they've got
So
what today's the
we're at a
20.
point now where the question marks have been more who is going to be the men's and women's world champions at All In to defend
Yeah,
against the very predictable winners of the Owen on the
yeah.
men's and women's sides.
And today is June 27th. So June 27th, All In is what, August 17th. I can't remember. It's
August 30th, I think.
that's it. It's the end of August. That's right. So
Yeah.
got a month and a half to figure out, how to, get the belt on the person that,
2 months and a few days by my calculations, but yeah.
okay, well, but it's got to be set in stone. I mean, they only have one pay-per-view before that pay-per-view after this. So something, whatever, they'll have
It
to
would be
tell.
weird to see both the men's and women's world champions drop their titles before All
Yeah,
in
that's,
that short period of time. But
yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be like rushed. So, yeah.
I don't think they'll both lose. I neither one of them might. I mean, I we'll wait and see how that is. That at least there's some kind of a question mark there. If I had to predict as of right now, I would say it's Tekla defending against Mercedes at All In, and I want to say that it's Omega versus Osprey, but there's definitely still a good chance of MJF Osprey. But I'm gonna say it's Omega Osprey at All In.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess, then that's got to be resolved sometime in, like you said, 2 months to move belts around and whatnot. That's the pay-per-view. It's
Convenient they
going.
added a pay-per-view in the country of Canada in July
Yeah,
for Canadian Kenny Omega.
that's right.
Even
That's
though
right.
I mean Winnipeg is different than Montreal, but still might be I don't know, but it could be heel Kenny. So who knows? At least there are some question marks out there.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit of an idea more after this pay-per-view is over, seeing maybe what tales they weave in all these matches that we've just went through. So, you never know. Things can change, much like the ones going on today, the Afternoon of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Things. I have a feeling that there's a lot of question marks still. Who's going to be showing up and whatnot. So, uh,
Well, and I wonder tomorrow when we get Hangman back. Um,
it
I
could
feel
be.
like if there's a time to do it, this is the time. Especially like you want to have him as a decent big part of All In as well. It's probably time to bring him back.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. So I know that you're on a time limit. So I'm
Oh
going
yeah.
to I'm going to run through quickly tomorrow Slammiversary pay-per-view TNAs. This is like their second giant pay-per-view of the year. Well, not really. It's the some people say
It
it's
is. I would
well, it
say.
is. Some people say it's their number one, or it should be their number one. It is going to be in the afternoon tomorrow on pay-per-view. And by the way, you can get Forbidden Door on HBO Max. Save $10 off like a off of the fee you would get for buying it on pay-per-view or whatever. So if you have HBO Max, it's $39.99. It's not a bad deal. That's what I got last time I got an AEW pay-per-view, and it's very affordable. But jumping to tomorrow's Slammiversary, very briefly, uh, Mike Santana and Nick Nemeth for the main event. If Mike Santana wins, then you know he probably is re-signing with the company, that he's got less than 30 days left on his contract. When Nick Nemeth wins, you'll see Mike Santana in WWE eventually, because I know that they're very hot for getting him. Beyond that, there's not a lot that really is jumping out at me on the show. I mean, AJ Francis versus Elijah. I think they've done that a bunch of times already. Mustafa Ali taking on open challenge. So maybe they have someone debuting. I'm guessing Eddie Edwards versus Moose, no surrender match. Uh, they have, the system versus the Broken Hardys, four-way ladder match for TNA World. It's exciting pay-per-view, I'm guessing. I mean, there's a lot of great matches, but Elegant Brand versus Rosemary and Allie for the TNA Knockout World Tag Team Champions. So there's a lot that's going to come out. There's been so many rumors about TNA this past week, especially about them being for sale and what the price is. And now that I see a price for it, it's like it wouldn't surprise me in the least someone would buy TNA, maybe WWE. Apparently, they've got first right refusal on if anybody wants to buy it. Someone posted that, and then someone says, "Well, that's not really fair, is it? To give them that opportunity." But I felt when they started cutting everybody that they were going to sell, because I've seen that before in the business world. So you try to make your overhead lower by getting rid of a lot of talent, and then you can make more money on a profit on selling the company. And so it wouldn't surprise me in the least if that is the where they're going with it. But that is tomorrow, as WWE's doing an NXT pay-per-view, the Great American Bash with 7 matches, and nothing really jumps out. They've got a lot of young people on their that have been called up from the LFG. You might remember what is his name? Is it Miles Bourne? I think he's one of the. No, he's not one of the guys from LFG, but there's a bunch of guys that have been called up from this. If you ever watched the LFG show, Shiloh Hill, he's one of the guys who's kind of getting over in TNA. But it's really, it's
Is
going to
Bully
be.
Ray still on that show?
I don't think so. I don't see his name on it. He's not made a lot of friends this past week with some of the things he's been saying about people.
Oh, it was so beautiful. I love you know, sometimes wrestling Twitter and stuff gets on a roll with an individual topic, and everybody coming out of the woodwork to share their bad stories about Bubba Ray Dudley really warms my heart this week, because um, anybody who's ever worked a show with him has
Oh,
probably a negative experience to share. So
I saw the whole Joey Janela thing about the tax, and yeah,
about the flaming table
yeah,
and how it wasn't done properly, and Bubba never checked on him or sent him a text or anything.
and he was in
And
the hospital after the match. Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
his burns were nasty.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's, uh, yeah. Like I said, I have nothing to say to defend a Bubba Ray Dudley. I thoroughly enjoyed everybody calling him out this week.
Well, it's
So
interesting that people are calling out Tommy Dreamer this week too, after he got fired from TNA. And the funny thing is none of that. It seemed, I don't know. It was like most of people's complaints were with Tommy were about setting up how the match was going to go, and how he felt they didn't need to do things that the wrestler wanted to do to make it, to get it over more, but it wasn't like anything, any terrible things that Tommy Dreamer was doing. He wasn't getting me too.
no, there were. There's a there were a couple of things. One conversation regarding the suggesting of getting breast implants for WWE to notice and stuff. And that, I like, that's a whole, it's a different era, and it's a topic that there's some things you just can't say. Um, but also like him knowing what Vince is going to hire and not hire in that era,
Yeah.
he's not entirely wrong on that. There's a whole nother part to this where one of the GCW refs who did a little bit of TNA refing had basically said that Dreamer had told him once, like, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you don't get a job in wrestling. And this is to, as people have said on Twitter and stuff, like the nicest kid in wrestling, Dan Perch. He's the most friendly face at
Okay.
every GCW show. Like I can't think of a nice like there's a good amount of nice people in wrestling. Not everybody, obviously. But I can't think of anybody who would be nicer than him. And for Dreamer to say that for I think there was something in the match that went kind of wrong or whatever, like that sparked a whole lot of this Twitter discourse and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's all I can say is like so I I've had a good amount of experiences working shows with Dreamer in different capacities and stuff for different companies over a large period of time. And I've never had anything but positive experiences with him. I've always had very pleasant conversations. He's always, to me, been somebody it's been fun to have him around. That doesn't excuse any of this other stuff though too. And like I said, like if he said that's a perch, like like to me, I'm just like, what? Like literally, if you're gonna say something crazy to somebody in indie wrestling, that's the last person you should pick. So that bothered me, reading about all that. And I don't know. It's all I can say is, like I said, I've had positive experiences with him, but it's not like this past week or so is the first time I've ever heard about negatives with him.
Okay. So yeah, and there was someone who also was like talking about a crotch grab or something during a match.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big yeah, that's oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, Kennedy Copeland. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not good.
I did see.
Again, the things were different in different eras, but that doesn't
Yeah.
excuse things, and that was not yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, Rob, before you got to go, one thing. I saw that GCW is thinking about going with AEW's My AEW to distribute their pay-per-views because of what's going on with Triller, since Triller has some financial issues right now. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that or should GCW? I mean, there's probably a lot of options to distributing your pay-per-views, obviously, but
It's all really complicated. I mean, I think I don't um obviously this is something that I probably have too much insight and knowledge of based off who their producer is.
gotcha.
I I don't think that they're gonna end up on my AEW anytime soon. Um Triller has been yeah, there's some financial issues there. GCW has, we'll say, a very good contract with Triller, a very good contract with Triller. It is in many ways the lifeblood or a big part of that for GCW. Um, I don't know what's going to happen with Triller. It doesn't help them that they're losing so many of their feds right now. I'm curious to see how things kind of evolve with the My AEW model and how much of that is included in a subscription price and how much of that is like standalone pay-per-view kind of pricing. I think one of the big reasons why GCW has grown so much in the last few years is they've been able to be part of a subscription model and not something where fans have to pay 5, 10, 15, $20 per show. Um, because the with the amount of shows they run, I mean that would be a lot of money for indie wrestling fans to commit to spending over and over again. Um, I'm curious. Like I like that my AEW is a thing and more opportunities for companies, and Like I said, I'm very curious to see where that all goes. But I think the GCW thing is kind of just like a things are good for now, but let's see what how things evolve with Triller. And it's probably not the best news for GCW if Triller does go under.
Okay. We got you.
So
Got there. Yeah. Okay. So one last thing. I know you got to go.
I gotta go. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was going to say ask you
Yeah,
about Zulafat too, but I'll just read it when I get to it. Okay.
we can talk about that next week. Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk to you later,
Yep.
man. Rob, take it easy. Rob is running too. So I'm going to do some news now, and then we're going to get out of here. AEW Collision tonight. If you're going to watch Collision tonight, you'll see Kevin Knight versus Desmond Xavier for the TNT title. Everyone's banned from the ringside. We have Persephone versus Billy Starks for the CML Women's Championship. Mercedes Monet, Athena versus Maya World and Hyan for that's just a warm up match for the pay per view tomorrow. Jake Doyle versus Adam Priest. We have Mystico and Mike Bailey versus the premier athletes Tony Nese and Ariana Davari. You might remember that they're still in the company. Chris Jericho versus JD Drake. And Saturday's collision was taped in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. This was taped this past Wednesday, so you can look it up if you want, or you can be surprised and watch it tonight. It'll be on TNT as well as HBO Max at 8 o'clock. Check it out. Let's see. We have during the past week's episode of Raw at the O2 Arena in London, they set up Chad Gable versus JD McDonough on Raw for Monday the 29th. So if you're going to watch Raw this Monday, you'll see Chad Gable versus JD McDonough. Hopefully JD McDonough survived the electric shock that happened at the end or during Raw this past week where he was zapped by Danhausen. So we will find out. And also starting this week, SmackDown's back to 2 hours. This Friday, July 3rd, you'll get SmackDown 8 o'clock on USA. It'll be back to 2 hours. Thank you, because I never make it to the end. I fall asleep. I'm an old man, so thank you. WWE Unreal is returning this summer to Netflix. They announced that the season 3 premiere will be on Tuesday, July 25th. A Netflix press release lists the following description. John Cena says goodbye. A fan favorite returns, and the next generation of superstars rise to the occasion. WWE Unreal takes viewers inside the writer's room as injuries, last-minute pivots, and career-defining decisions reshape WWE's biggest season yet, heading into WrestleMania 42. And that is going to be very good because I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some backstage stuff from John Cena's last match. I did mention Liv Morgan earlier, was hurt last week, and she suffered an ankle injury during a four-way match with Sol Ruca, Io Sky, and Lyra Valkyria. And actually, Sol Ruca did a springboard dive and landed on Morgan's ankle as Ruka went right across it, and she rolled to the floor. So hopefully she's okay for today. We'll find out. I mean, we're hitting the pre-show starting right now, and 2 hours from now we'll be into the pay-per-view or the whatever it is, the live event or whatever they call it. But nevertheless, you can check that out. Congratulations are in order for AJ Styles' son, Avery Styles. He's scheduled to make his in-ring debut next weekend. He is scheduled to face Ashton Martin Friday squared circle action in Royston, Georgia. AJ will be in his son's corner, and apparently this Royston Dome, it's called the Royston Dome, holds about 300 people. So it'll be a really cool setting for the first match for AJ Styles' 19-year-old son, Avery Styles. Tennille Dashwood and Mike Rallis, both former WWE employers. You might remember Emma and Riddick, Madcap Moss. Remember when he was laughing like a crazy man? They've welcomed their second child this past week, so congratulations. Jim Ross continues to battle through difficulties in health-wise. Legendary wrestling announcer shared another update with fans last Saturday. The WWE Hall of Famer revealed that he has now spent more than 3 weeks in a hospital, posting a message on social media while watching his beloved Oklahoma Sooners baseball team compete in the College World Series. Ross, 74, has remained open about several health challenges recently. He disclosed that he suffered a fall before AEW's Double or Nothing, where he actually called the Continental Championship match. He fell before that, still made it to pay-per-view. In addition, recovering from that incident, Ross recently revealed that he's undergoing testing related to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So we're keeping JR in our thoughts. He friend of the show, been here on many times. Haven't talked to him in a while. Jungle Jack Perry, some news about him. Yeah, he wrestled a great match this past week on against Zack Sabre Jr. on Dynamite, and he his contract's coming up. And I mean, there's a lot of rumors. He has not signed a new contract yet, but I believe that that's a priority for Tony Khan. He mentioned it in his press when he was doing press for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So hopefully, he will be showing. He'll be signing. He said he's going to sign him to a long-term contract. So if you've seen Chad Gable since he's kind of gone face, he's got this new clapping routine that he's doing as he's coming out, and it's kind of reminiscent of the Minnesota Vikings skull chant that they do. And since Chad Gable is from the Minnesota area, and that's where SummerSlam's going to be, it'll seem to fit really well together when he comes out clapping. So that's the reason why he's doing this clapping routine before his matches. Kudos to Gable. He's a great wrestler, probably the best wrestler in the company without a doubt. He's back and he's ready to go. It's very interesting I'm a Gable fan. We'll see how it'll get worked in to the main eventing possibly. We'll see. So WWE is celebrating United States 250th birthday with a special ticket promotion that 25% off selected tickets for domestic WWE events. And they had a ton of places that from June 29th through 11/59, July 6th, you can get 25% off tickets at all these house shows that they're doing from June 29th through August 2nd, including SummerSlam. You get 25% off tickets. So obviously there's some problems selling tickets right now. They're so expensive. 25% off is not a bad deal. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, you save it, wait till 29th. Today's the 27th. We got 2 days before these 25% deals go on sale. And one last thing before we get out of here, we've got so much going on this weekend. We've got WWE is planning on signing Zilla Fatu. If the deal hasn't already been finalized, they're planning on it. He's been seen recently at the Performance Center, and it looks like the 26-year-old is the son of the late Umaga. He's been on the radar for years. We've seen him with GCW here in Rochester. I think it might have been his last match with GCW before he left the company, but he's also worked with House of Glory. He's a regular performer with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and they might want to bolster the bloodline, we'll say. So I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up sometime very soon. Zilla Fatu being signed or soon to be signed by WWE. And that note, that's the last thing we got going on. I wish you guys a great weekend. I'm sorry the first 12 minutes of the show are all about the draft, the NHL draft going on, but we have ties to hockey here in Rochester, and Rob, of course, being the announcer for a couple of teams in the past, including Corpus Christi. It's important. I think, it's fun to talk a little bit about it, but thank you guys in the chat room. I appreciate it. We'll be back next week. We have lots of things to talk about next week with obviously 4 paid events going on this weekend in the world of pro wrestling. And, by the way, I forgot to mention that the Great American Bash is going to be on WB on Sunday at 7 p.m. So if you don't want to pay for Forbidden Door, there's a free show on CW or whatever, 7 p.m. Sunday night. And with that being said, I'm going to say thank you for checking us out. Please check out all of our old shows. They're all on iTunes as well as the painclinic.net. And tell someone about us if you can. Please just follow us on all the social medias, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.